And I have 4 days off from work, so let's see how much reading I can do in those 4 days. I thought it was gonna go 10. Okay, 24 hours. That's a challenge. Currently, I'm reading a bunch of books. I'm listening to Night of the Dragon by Julie Kagawa on audiobook, and I have 40% left, but we're already at the final battle, so I'm like, what's left in the 40%? But anyways, then on ebook, I'm reading Sami by Audre Lorde. I've just started, so I don't really have any feelings about that yet, except that it's well written. And I'm reading The Brothers Hawthorne, which is the fourth book in a series, and it's one of those where you feel like it was a trilogy to start, and then it turned out to be a moneymaker, so they decided to write more books in the same series, but they're just like beating it at horse at this point. I'm getting a little bit sick of rich people's shenanigans, but yeah. I'm also reading Black Women in Antiquity. I've recently started it, so I'm not that far ahead. The font is tiny, so it's a struggle, even though it's quite a skinny book. But yeah, on page 16, and so far it's pretty interesting. So I guess I should get started, since there's like 7 hours a day. No, 6 hours a day. That's not gonna happen, but let's give it a go.
My live show for this is tomorrow, so I will probably wait until tomorrow.
I'm about to go on my evening walk, potentially in the rain. And I'm going to listen to Night of the Dragon. I've been listening to it today. And like I said, I feel kind of like it's dragging on a little bit. We've had the final battle, and then we had another battle, and then another one, and there's still 2 hours left. So, like, what's gonna happen? And I can grant you like 15, 20 minutes maybe for wrapping up and hopefully some happy endings, because there has been some not so happy endings. But 2 hours, yeah. Seems I just missed the rain on my evening walk, and now I'm back inside under the blankets, and Gavin is still on sprints, so hopefully I can finish the last 50 minutes of my 6-hour reading time today as soon as we start actually reading on this sprint. I am 7 hours into my challenge, and I just finished The Brothers Hawthorne. And yeah, I liked it. It was fine. Like I said, most of it is rich people shenanigans, and I feel like I'm kind of over it. But it is compelling because you want to know the end of the mysteries and the answers to the riddles and whatnot. But I feel like there's not a whole lot of character development. Grayson especially just feels like the punching bag for the author. Like, his brothers love him, and yeah, but I don't know, it just feels like every time he tries to step out of his perfect role, things go wrong. And they've been doing that for 4 books now, and in this one, it just happened over and over. And I feel like he's trying to, like, every time he tries to change, he gets punished for it. So he goes back to being perfect and being cold and not letting himself feel anything or want anything for himself. So I just feel like it's old now, and I'm rooting for a happy ending for him. And at the very end, it seems like maybe we'll get that in the next book, because there's a number 5 in this series. And if it wasn't for the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do, where I have to read an entire series with at least 3 or 4 books, I can't remember, then I probably wouldn't read number 5, because I can't imagine it's anything other than more of the same. So yeah, but I will read it, and at least it will probably be as compelling and easy and quick to read as the others have been. I am back home and it's about 3:30, and on the drive home I finished Night of the Dragon and I liked it, but I feel like, as I said before, it was dragging on. There was the final battle, but then some more, and then some more, and then some more, and some more, and some more. So yeah, but it did fill out the last 2 hours that I was wondering about. It also had a 30-minute epilogue, and that's, again, I was wondering, what are we gonna hear about in these 30 minutes, because the story is over. But yeah, in general, I really liked the series, although I do feel like it could have been a duology, because especially the second book was just like, they met every single spirit and ghost and demon and monster ever in the folklore and had to fight those and go on random side quests and stuff. And this book also had a smidge of that, if not more. So I feel like it could have been tidied up a little bit, and it could have been a duology. But I'm done with it now, and it was enjoyable. And now it's time to start this beast, Pillars of the Earth by Ken Follett. It is the morning of day 3 of my 4-day weekend, and I think I'm gonna cut the video in 2, just so I don't ramble on forever. I started this one yesterday and I read 42 pages and I'm DNFing it. Partly because I just don't want to read like 800 pages, and also because I don't like the writing style, and I'm well aware of, like, who am I to criticize Ken Follett's writing style. But first of all, there was an instance where the plot was progressing, and then, okay, this is hardly a spoiler, someone steals a pig from them, and then they see the thief and they're like, oh my god, this thief must think he's safe because we went the other direction, but then we met someone and turned back in this direction, and now we're here too, where the thief is, and he must think he's safe because he thinks we're off in the other direction. I'm like, yeah, we just read all of that happening, so why are you telling us again? And then for me, an instant turn off in books is when, especially a male author writes a male character thinking something lewd about a woman character. And it happened, and I'm like, it happened twice, and I'm like, there's no reason for this. The plot progresses without these gross thoughts, and yeah, okay, I read 42 pages, so maybe it becomes relevant later on, but I'm like, there's absolutely no reason for including these thoughts, except I always think that if there is absolutely no reason, and again, there might be, but I don't know. If there is no reason, I'm like, it's just the author wanting to get across his own gross thoughts. I don't know. I'm kind of hoping that it does come to be relevant later in the book. Otherwise, it's just gross. Yeah. But anyways, I will never know because I will not finish this book. So that's 3 books down and 10.5 hours in, which means I'm a little bit behind, so I better get cracking.